He says, Hindu, Turk, dohu samjhaun. Can anyone try and help me understand this? It's written there. But he's not talking about religions, right? He's not talking about religion because Turk kaun hai? Turk is not a religion, right?
Ethnic group.
Exactly. Turk in a Bani comes again and again. Guru Gobind Singh's Bani, it comes Banke, Bengali. You know? So he goes around talking about different regions. There's Shabad there. Turk is not the people from Turkey, by the way.
Turkmenistan.
No, it's not even Turkmenistan. No. Central Asia. At some point of time, these boundaries keep changing, right? Boundaries keep changing. The ethnic group from the west of Sindhu River, this is at the time of Bhakti period, Guru Nanak, Kabir Sahib and others. At that time, the defining line is that Sindhu River, the Indus, what we call. In Chinese, we call it as, anyone knows what's Indus called in Chinese? Indo-Xian. Hindu. साड़ी लैंग्वेज के अंदर सिंधु बोलते हैं सिंधु राइट we talked earlier in the earlier presentation about monotheism. The people from about 800 AD, once the Islam has got established, with Muhammad bin Qasim coming into the lands of Sindh, and thereafter multiple dynasties come inside. And they cross the Sindhu River. And here come, this civilization on the west of the Sindhu River is a civilization that's in the Afghanistan, in Central Asia, not Turkmenistan, Central Asia, even to the extent Persia. All these people who are coming in are Turk, in our culture. The Indic culture, Indian culture. They are called as Turk. The Turks are followers of monotheism because they are the followers of Islam. Islam is one of the three Abrahamic faiths of monotheism. God is one. We just talked about God is one and everything is one, right? And they cross the Sindhu River, and here comes an entire civilization of multiplicity. This is the beauty of this land on the east of Sindhu, which Guru Nanak is bringing together through diversity and oneness message. This is a land of multiplicity, where 6 darshans, Shat darshan, we talked about that. The 6 philosophies can exist. The non-believer can exist. The believer can exist. Buddha can exist, and Jain, Mahavira can exist, who say, I have not experienced God. But I will tell you how to live your life. Because there are certain principles if you follow, and Buddha's eightfold path, Jain thought has a certain other way. Both Mahavir and Gunan and Buddha are the advocates. I have not experienced God. They are very clearly saying. They are agnostic. Agnostic means just the experience hi nahi hai mainu. They are admitting it. I don't know if it exists or doesn't exist. But I will tell you how to live. And at a time, Buddhism becomes a peak religion of this land on the east of Sindhu River. Yes or no? This is our forefathers who are all embracing, all encompassing. Anything can coexist. There is a thought, an interesting thought called Charvaks. Has anyone heard of Charvaks? Yeah. So Charvaks, for the benefit of everyone, is also another philosophy. When the Charvak says, तुसी कहंदे हो कि birth rebirth है, ठीक है, I've got reborn, and if I've got the wealth, I've done something good in my past life. It's a philosophy, right? So I shall enjoy it to the last minute. Materialism. our entire society today, worldwide, is Charvaks. ਕਹਿਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਹਾਂ, ਕਹਿਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ agnostic ਹਾਂ, ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ, but essentially I say we are all Charvaks. It's a philosophy that was wiped out of India. You will not find any texts of Charvaks that exist. But it's a beautiful philosophy. It's a philosophy. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਕੁਝ ਚੰਗਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮੈਂ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੈਂ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾਸਤਿਕ ਹੈ, that's also philosophy, na? It's a philosophy. Whether it's in the realm of religion or no, we're not talking about religion here. It's a philosophy. So here come the Turks coming with monotheism and enter the lands of Sindhu, cross the Sindhu river, and the first region is Punjab, and then go deep inside. This is a land of multiplicity. And their philosophy, जितना भाई साहब तो समझ नहीं आया oneness, है ना? I'm not picking you out. I'm just मजाक कर रहे थे. We were talking outside. उन्होंने भी नहीं समझ आया. They go inside and they see multiplicity. But ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ monotheism, God is one. And they go and see, oh, all right. So this culture is the Sindhu culture. Okay? It's a culture. And for us, that's the culture coming from their Turki culture, Central Asia. In their language, in the Persian, the sa becomes a ha. Anyone been to Middle East? What do you say to Pizza Hut? Pizza Hut. What do you say to parking? Barking. There is no perf. Sapta. What does Sapta mean? Week. In the Urdu speaking belt of UP in Lucknow becomes Hafta. Hafta is what? Week. Sa becomes a ha. Sindhu de is paase da culture, ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਨ Hindu. This is not a religion. अगर ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੋ कि मैं हिंदू हाँ, culturally मैं किधरों अरब तो नहीं पाया मैं. I mean, I know today we are talking about religions and this, that's a very powerful statement I'm saying, don't cut off my head, okay? But I'm not hesitating in saying मेरे father तो इथों ही आए, मेरे बुजुर्ग तो इथों ही आए ने, right? Sindhu दरिया दे इस पास. It's a culture. I don't come from an Arabic culture. I don't come from an Eskimos culture. I don't come from a Tibetan culture. I come from this culture. सब तो forefront ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਧੂ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ. Oh, sorry, I'm switching to Punjabi. I hope there's anyone here who didn't understand. So this whole region is the Sindhu region, and it goes into the Gangetic belt and all. So Kabir Sahib is not talking about two religions. He's talking about Hindu, Turak, dohu samjhaun. He's talking about, if he was talking about religions, he would say Hindu, Musliman, dohu samjhaun. And I said earlier, just to define this, the word Hindu does not exist in the Vedas, the oldest scripts. It's a word given to you with the advent of Turks inside the lands of the Sindhu. That's where it starts coming in. By the time Guru Granth Sahib is written, by the time Kabir Sahib is there, the word Hindu as a culture has got prevalent now. And Guru Nanak is not shying. They use the word Hindu, but they're talking about culture. When they oppose, they're not opposing this culture. They're opposing the practices of this culture, where a pandit is saying something or ritual is saying something. That's what they're opposing. Clear? Okay. I'm going to play this. Guru Nanak's verse.
खसमाना किया खुरासान खसमाना किया हिंदुस्तान डराया हिंदुस्तान डराया आपे दोष न दे करता जम कर मुगल चढ़ाया.
I'm going to stop there. Sorry. Khorasan khasmana kiya, having ruled Khorasan. If anyone has not heard of that word, if you get into the ISIS vision statement, they want the land of Khorasan. Has anyone heard that in the news? In the Central Asia, that's the Turk land, Central Asia, from where the Turks came. They are aspiring for Khorasan. Guru Nanak is talking about the same word which ISIS is talking today. Khorasan khasmana kiya, Hindustan daraya. Having ruled and conquered that Khorasan, Babur has now crossed the Mughal dynasty's first person and crossed the Sindhu river, and is passe the land nu hun dara raha hai. Guru Nanak is saying this. I'm not saying this. Hindustan daraya, the land of Sindhu. And then he says, look at the stupidity of the, translation. Makes no sense. This is what a problem our translations are. We're showing them in the Gurdwaras. High time we need to start revisiting. Ape dos na dein, that's what ape dos na dein, karta jamkar Mughal chadhaya. Ape dos na dein, karta jamkar Mughal chadhaya. Translation, listen to it. Makes no sense. The creator himself does not take the blame and has sent the Mughal as the messenger of death. What a translation this is. Khorasan khasmana kiya, Hindustan daraya. Now he's instilling fear on the people of Hindustan. Ape dos na dein. Tu apne aap nu dos nahi de rahe hain. You're not blaming yourself. Karta jamkar Mughal chadhaya. जो करते ने, the creator has sent the Mughal as the messenger of death. तू अपने आप अजे भी दोष नहीं दे रहे हैं, आप पे दोष ना दें. क्यों? इतने साल तो तू कास्ट के उत्ते डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कर रहे हैं, अपने बंदियां नू मार रहे हैं, अपने उत्ते ही सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, तू साइलेंट किलिंग कर रहे हैं. हुण जदों वो आ गया मुगल, and now he picks up the sword and he's bashing you up. Now you're remembering the divine energies, but you're not still blaming yourself. आप पे दोष ना दें. तेरे एक्शन, what were your actions? Is it clear? This is the background in which we are going to put the context of, with the philosophy as rise of, not the Maharaja, of Sarkar Ranjit Singh. Yeah? Clear till here? I'm not calling it as a Sikh empire. Some people may not like it. Allow me a little bit more time. Lahore Darbar 1849 collapses. I'm starting from a collapse. That's the yellow territory of Lahore Darbar. And if you take the current Pakistan and India through the disputed territories of Kashmir, you'll find 80% of that Darbar is today in Pakistan. So the question then is, what a formidable empire it was. And yet, when it collapses, today you have only access physically, not of the empire, but you only have access to about 20% of that land, which is in India. The Darbar was in Lahore. And that's why when people are talking about divisiveness, I'm very particular. I would hate to stay in a place where it's just my people. I want to live in a land where we all can blossom, right? And so if you have to ask for a land, ask where it is in Lahore, if you understand what I'm saying. I want to live in diversity. Don't put your voice into my voice. Don't speak for me. We're going to demystify a bit here. There is in our text no reference of Sikh empire. Right? And I'm going to look at Umdatut Tariq, which is Umdatut Tariq is in Persian, the day-to-day records of Lahore Darbar, which are being written by Sohan Lal Suri about Ranjit Singh's activities on day to day. It's a massive piece of work. It is now translated by Guru Nanak Dev University in English language. You can read it for yourself. You don't need me to tell you, but I can tell you what I want to tell you. There is no mention of Sikh empire inside it. What they talk about is Lahore Darbar. There is no mention of Maharaja. What they talk about is Sarkar. Because the Sarkar is governor. Ranjit Singh is referred to as Sarkar, a humble reference of a man who rises from the missile. The power bestowed on him was not of a Maharaja. Oh, Guruji ka like he didn't do a right succession planning. We'll come to that later on. But the missiles bestowed a power on him as the custodian of our revolution. That's the Sarkar. Because Guru Nanak's philosophy was social revolution. Kabir's philosophy was a social revolution. And here comes the Sarkar. And then they talk about Sarkar-e-Khalsa. Sarkar-e-Khalsa is not the Khalsa as we define today. Khalsa is a Persian word. Sarkar, this governance of a land of absolute pure vision, where everyone is going to be equal. And that's why at a time in Ranjit Singh's time, when 7% were the Sikhs as we define today, and 55% of his forces nearly were Muslims, it was an equal opportunity for everyone. It was a Punjabi empire. And if you don't believe me, let's read Jangnama by Shah Muhammad after I'm going to use the word which is not the right word, the first Anglo-Sikh war. It's the British who, when fought Delhi, they looked at it as the Mughals ruling there, so it becomes an Islamic state. British have this idea of boxing everything in by religion. And on that side of the Indus River, in Lahore is the ruler who happens to be Sikh, so they call it as a Sikh empire. And we continue to use that word, Sikh empire. It's just, we are using, our forefathers are using Lahore Darbar, Sarkar Khalsa, Sarkar, that's it. Shah Muhammad, at the time when the so-called Anglo-Sikh war is going on, because it's the British terminology, what is Shah Muhammad writing? Who's a soldier of Ranjit Singh's army. He's a poet. What does he write? Jang Hind Punjab da hon laga. Jang Hind Punjab. Jang Sikh Hind da nahi hon lagya. Jang Hind Punjab da hon lagya. Shah Muhammad ek sarkar bajon. Sarkar Ranjit Singh. Sarkar bajon mar gaya tha बेचारा. He died in 1841. एक सरकार बाजों फौजा जित के अंत नु हारिया ने. The forces having won with deceit have lost it all. Where's the word Sikh inside this? Where is the word Maharaja? Clear? I'm just trying to demystify a few things here. Because we commonly use it. We put exhibitions of Sikh empire. We put exhibitions of this and that. No, let's get it right. This was a दरबार ऑफ इक्वालिटी. महाराजा जड़ा होता है ना, वो फिर सबड्यू करता है. महाराजा जड़ा है वो फिर पैसे दे उत्ते अपना जोर चलाता है. ये सरकार दा कुछ होर सीगा, एटलीस्ट कॉन्सेप्चुअली कुछ होर सीगा. ये नानक दा बेगमपुरा सीगा. दिस वॉज द यूटोपियन एम्पायर that they were aspiring for. Oh, that's a different thing that it didn't last. But the philosophy, that's why I started with. If you get the philosophy, now let's start with this thing. So I've already talked about this partition. Okay. I need to put a bit of a context. Now it's going to be all history, very fast, I know. Guru Gobind Singh breathes his last 1709 in Maharashtra, Nanded. And he sends whom to Banda Bahadur. And he comes up till Punjab. And it's a war going on, right? It's a backlash of what has happened. And he goes in full throttle. He issues a coin. Having reached Samana, having reached Sarhand, he issues a coin. He brings about land reforms. The tiller gets the land. The tiller actually is not the custodian of the land. The tiller, the jat ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਜਾਟ ਜਾਂ ਜੱਟ, ਹਰਿਆਣਾ ਦੇ ਜਾਟ ਸੀਗੇ, ਜਾਟ ਜਾਂ ਜੱਟ, what he reached up till sun, they were the tillers of the land. They were not the landowners, and he passed the title to them. Reforms. Zakaria Khan backlashes, and 1716 Banda Bahadur is executed. Now, the only point I want you to take out here is, I'm going to demystify a little bit here. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ Sikh forces went. How many Sikhs were there in Nanded with Guru Gobind Singh?
5,000.
Okay. ਮੁਗਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਫੌਜ ਉੱਥੇ, ਇਹ ਨਾਨਕ ਪੰਥ ਸੀਗਾ. This was a Nanak Panth. You know who, if you read Banda Bahadur's history, who was traveling with him to Punjab? I don't know the number 5,000, I can't vouch for it, but yet some people went. But what I can vouch for, the people who traveled were the gypsies, the Banjaras. They are the ones who were supplying arms. Nanak's Panth's revolution was huge across the Indian subcontinent. You'll see docu-series you'll find in Bihar, in Odisha, still footprints of it. You see it for yourself. Still, we have boxed it in a different thing in Punjab, but yet people, and I've shied to not tell the locations because I don't want any Punjabi to go there and disrupt the Bihari who's holding the Guru Granth Sahib. We have no rights to do that. It's wisdom. Let it be. Let's not define that everyone has to comply with us. As long as they give respect, they are attaching to it. I'm no one to tell you where is it lying. But we have experienced it. Villages and villages have got it. Punjab has defined it. And I don't want anyone from Punjab to go and start disrupting that. But it's the common man, the Vanjaras, the gypsies, जिन्होंने ਅਸੀਂ सिकलीगर कहांगे आज. They are suppliers of arms to Punjab. There's a revolution happening from Nanak's house, and they're supplying arms into Punjab. These people have nothing to lose. They are gypsies. And when Banda Bahadur is going from there, they join arms with him and they move towards Punjab. This is the force that goes. We may box it and say they're all Sikhs. They were Nanak Panth. They were Nanak Panth. And they go there, and this happens in 1716 to 38. A huge amount of, after Banda Bahadur, a backlash happens on the community, the Nanak Panth community. Huge backlash. And massacres happen. And then comes 1739 to 49. Foreign invasions start again from the lands of Turk. Nadir Shah from Persia invades. Chota Kallukara happens in 1747. 7,000 people killed. Ahmad Shah Abdali attacks 9 times. Vadda Kallukara, 30,000 killed. This is a tumultuous time. Very, very tumultuous time. And in this formation around 1748, our forefathers in the lands of the 5 rivers start consolidating themselves in small areas which become missals. 12 such missals come together. Some of the names are here: Aluwalia, Faisalpuria, Sukarchakia, Nishanwalia, Pangi, Nakkai, Sukarchakia. 12 missals come up. Now, what is missal? Missal is a group of people who say around a region, we have to protect ourselves because everyone's coming and slapping us and going away. We better get our act together. So they come up with a Rakhi system. They would collect taxes, they would build in forces, and they start protecting themselves. They start building small forts around villages. But these missals would fight against each other, which we continue to do today. Right? They would fight against each other. This was not a Sikh empire as yet. They were fighting against each other. Oh, tu meri land vich aa gaya, tu mere vich aa gaya. It's like two brothers fighting for the land, right? The missiles would fight against each other. It's human traits, right? But when anyone would come and invade inside, they would come together as a force. That's all that happened. And once in a year, they would come together at the Darbar Sahib in Amritsar. And they would come together with what they've achieved, where they need to lead. It's a great way of kind of governance. Decentralized plus reporting structure. And then they would go away. And then they would be must in their own things. In this period, after Ahmad Shah Abdali leaves, there's still some invasions happening. And Ahmad Shah Abdali, he appoints Shah Zaman in the fort of Lahore Darbar, because he takes it by force, and he appoints him. By the way, Lahore at that time, in this period, the Pangi missile have taken over Lahore. And I will show you some of the remnants of the Pangi missile. Pangi missile has taken over. Now the Pangi missile is a very tumultuous time. Pakistan's history, and some of these things I've countered in the books. I've challenged in the books, because none of our people are there. Their history writes a lot of negativity about Ranjit Singh and here and there. I'm not trying to defend Ranjit Singh, but there's a lot baseless stuff being written there. A lot of these baseless stuff happened in the time when all this is happening. Everyone's invading. Nadir Shah is not your advocate of Islam. Ahmad Shah Abdali is not an advocate of Islam. They are coming to displace another Islamic ruler for the wealth. There is no Islam out here. Our narrative today might say that ki Islamic ruler are aise. No, they were fighting amongst each other. And if whoever has the wealth, they will take it. So in that period, when Lahore is experiencing a lot of backlash, the Pangi missile are not able to govern it most effectively, because the moment you get your act together, someone attacks. So a lot of damages happen in that period. But the Pakistani history blames it all on the Sikhs and does not actually accept the fact what was happening in Punjab at that time. In this background, as Ahmad Shah Abdali's grandson is sitting in the Lahore fort, Ranjit Singh, who's the grandson of the Shukar Chakriya missile, apna ki na hai? I'm just going blank out here. Help me, sir. I'm just going blank. Your grandfather, Charat Singh. Yeah? He is invited by the people of, one narrative goes by the people of Lahore. That's one narrative. The other thing is he comes with force. I don't know what's right or wrong. There are two narratives existing. But he comes in this void, because one narrative says that ki Lahore de bande Pangiyan kolo tang aage sige. Pangi Pizzle to, they were quite upset, because they were not able to bring a governance, right? So Shukar Chakriya missile, which was ruling in Gujranwala, comes in, and grandson of Charat Singh, Ranjit Singh, comes in, and they ask him to come and take the charge of this land and start ruling. This is not about Sikh, this is about a Punjabi ruler. The Muslims out there are asking him, come and give us governance. They want governance. Why do you think we respect the Western world? There's a good governance. All that they want is good governance. And in that background, he comes in and he takes over. Okay, now missile period, because they were building these small walls, I'm telling you audio-visual presentations, I'm going to show you some pictures. If you go in the Gujranwala area, you will find a lot of places like Killa Sujan Singh, Kalla this thing, Killa, different Sikh names. But there are no Killas. And neither does it mean Killa like a land measurement. It doesn't mean that also. But there are no walls, there are no gates, there are no forts there. Because these were protection areas built, walls were built around the villages in a very short period of time. But none of those Killas exist today. I found this one wall existing here in Pakistan near Gujranwala called Killa Mian Singh. It's again a name, Killa Mian Singh. But if I look at this, you see things have been added onto this. But if you look at some of the bricks here, very thin ones, you see there is a British brick. These are British bricks. These are thick bricks. You'll find some smaller bricks. In the Maharaja Ranjit Singh times, the bricks became thin and became smaller. But these are Mughlai bricks. Mughlai bricks is, right now Ranjit Singh's rule has not come in, the rule before that. So this is probably a depiction of one solid killa, of a wall of a place that I could spot. But I have not spotted anything else. So if you're looking for any killa of that missile period, I have spotted nothing, and I'm assuming this could be one of them. I'm assuming. Because it's not really a fort as such, okay? All right, I just want to give you a context, and then after this, we'll start quickly then now into the audiovisual aspect. So what is it that these missiles are facing in that time? When Ranjit Singh is coming in, all these green ones you're seeing are different missiles. Pangi is there between Chelam and Chenab, and Pangis also up till this area which is Lahore. Okay? You got Nakkai Misl close to your, just above Multan, this area, Chang and all this area. And you got on this side Singhpuria, Ramgarhia, Aluwalia, Dalewala, Fulkiyan, which is your Patiala state. In Haryana, Karoda, Singhia, these are the 12 missiles which are rolling. Sukar Chakriya is here, Gujranwala area. They are the ones who will finally come into this Lahore. They just come up. This is Ranjit Singh's missile. Now, what are they facing? It's a very complex time. Afghans are continuing to, the Turks, Afghans are continuing to invade from there. Zakaria Khan Ahmad Shah Abdali has just come in. Nadir Shah has gone in. Ahmad Shah Abdali's son is there in Lahore. All that invasion is still happening since 800 AD. That continues. The hill Rajputs from the hilly regions of Himachal and UP are coming this side. There's a void here, right? The Gurkhas have reached, and I'll show you one of the things interesting about Gurkhas. Gurkhas have reached up till Dehradun in UP, and they are aspiring to get this side. The English are coming from this side. The English have reached from East India Company, has now reached quite inside. Marathas, at one time in the missile, before the missile period, Marathas, when Babur comes in, they fight the Battle of Panipat. It's huge Maratha forces, right? It's a big force. They've come here, they fought at Panipat, a battle, and thereafter they've receded. But then they renew their attack, and they go right up till Attock, and I'm going to show you Attock. Attock is along the Indus River, somewhere here. You see Attock up there, below Afghans? That's Attock. They reach up till there, and they hoist the Maratha flag out there. But they last, I think, for just a few days, and then they retreat, because it's too far away. They retreat. In this void, there is one stray man called George Thomas. He's broken away from the British. And he does a very good governance in the region of Haryana. He's a stray guy, maverick, who's gone and taken over. He's to hell with British, and he establishes his own rule. And he's also aspiring to expand and go into Patiala. Now, this is the background of what Ranjit Singh is going to face in 1799. Easy? Not easy. Very complicated, right? So many forces. It's a game of chess going on from everywhere. It's a sure shot suicide if you take on Lahore Darbar, because no one has survived till date. And this fort, 1575, built by Akbar, it has layers, but Akbar strengthened it. 1799, Ranjit Singh ousts the grandson of Ahmad Shah Abdali, Shah Zaman. Khushwant Singh describes it very poetically. I don't know if this would have happened, but he writes, Ranjit Singh rides into Lahore and says, "O grandson of Abdali, come, measure the swords with grandson of Chatar Singh." Very poetic description. I'm sure he wouldn't have had a chance to even say anything, right? But that's how Khushwant Singh is writing. 1799, ousts him, takes over Lahore. 1799. And the empire collapses in 18? Depends. First Anglo War, actually it had already collapsed. But theoretically, the last bit, 1849. Ranjit Singh dies 1841. Right? So that's what we're talking about, 50 years. Sarkar is not worth calling Maharaja. Because call him Sarkar because he was a very humble man. This is his Atdhara. This was clicked by me in Lahore Fort. This is that depiction out here. Right? This is a depiction by the British artist who has drawn this. Sarkar is sitting on a small chair, sits outside in the open. There's no palace inside in which you have to come. He's sitting outside with on a chair. And this whole hustle and bustle. And this is totally silent out here. He's sitting somewhere here. This is his place, which is up there, which is not shown here, which is where he dies. He's lying out here in his last days. And trust me, I was wondering how did he stay there, because I went up here. I managed to climb up here. Someone helped me, and I had made some friends, so we went up there. They don't allow anyone. And it's so chilled up there, so chilled, because winds are coming from all a small room, right? All four sides open. And I'm saying this guy was in his last moments. I mean, sanu bukhar lagda si kehte chaddar odo to ye karo andar jao, and he's like in this open area, he's lying down. That's why he dies in the end.
That's in Lahore.
This is Lahore. This is Lahore Killa. This is that Athdhara. Athdhara is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Athdhara. 8 gates, right? So that is the god. You see the architecture. This is built in Ranjit Singh's time. This was not acquired. This is built. In that open area, he builds it. And Upar, he's built this in the Sikh architecture. So these are layers of Sikh architecture coming inside the fort. Okay? All right. Why it is not a Sikh empire is I want to show something else out here. Why is it that you all have come to Australia? If you had the same opportunity in India, would you stay there? Same opportunity. You would not move out from home. It's an economic migration, right? Some may have political migrations and all. I'm not getting into that. But there is essentially, we all have come for economic migrations. And in those days, these generals of French, Italian, American, I mean, Ranjit Singh's commander of the artillery was Alexander Gardner, a short guy. There are some black and white pictures of him standing next to these tall Sikhs, and he used to wear this tartan coat, checked coats, right? And he used to wear a turban, tartan turban, very stylish. And his beard is all open, short guy, standing next to the tall guys. There are pictures of him available. And he was born in California, went into England. From England, he came into Central Asia, Caucasus territories, came into Afghanistan, served under Dost Muhammad, but his aspiration was to get into Punjab. Dost Muhammad ruling under him was just a stopgap arrangement. He was figuring out how to cross the borders and get inside. Finally, he comes here and he becomes the artillery commander. It's just an off the cuff, interesting fact. So he writes in his book, Memoirs of Alexander Gardner, he writes how he became the head of artillery. So he crosses the border from Afghanistan, comes to Lahore, and Ranjit Singh had this habit of, because there was a game being played, the great game was being played in Europe. The British who had come into India through the sea route, they are not connected to India through the land route. And in Europe, there is Napoleon and the Tsars of Russia. Napoleon French and Tsars of Russia are head-on with Ranjit Singh. Oh, sorry, not with the British, right? And they're fighting a great game, and the British are afraid that if we lose against them, any one of these Tsars or the Napoleons can come through the land route, get into Afghanistan or get into Kashmir or get into any other territory, cross the Khyber Pass and come inside the golden goose, the Sone ki Chidiya, which is India. And they don't want to lose that. But in between is this Punjab, which is an independent geography which they have not entered as yet. British have not entered as yet. Ranjit Singh now has taken charge and he's saying, those guys are pretty European. And I need to get this European talent inside my army also, because my people are filled with valor, but I need to import this talent. So all these guys are expatriates working in Punjab. We are all expatriates working in different lands, right? Because of higher salaries. Why did Dost Muhammad leave Afghanistan and come here? Because Punjab that time was paying very high salaries. Sometimes you look at the state of Punjab, divided, destroyed, everyone going out. The waves just turn, right? We don't control it. We only control our actions. So then he had the Hindustani, he had battalions of Hindustani. Guru Nanak said, Khorasan khasmana kiya, Hindustan daraya. Guru Nanak's Hindustan is east of Sindhu river. But right now there's a Punjab in between, now it's come. Because the boundaries changed, right? British have taken over. So all British soldiers are known as Hindustani soldiers, which are the Purbiyas and the Bengalis. They are the first ones who came in, right? In fact, that's why I've written, in my books also I've written, the first war of, I'm just digressing a bit, but just a interesting fact. The first war of independence, in India always we say 1857 was the first war of independence, because Punjab was taken over in 1849. They say the first war of independence is when the revolution happens, a mutiny happens in Delhi, and the Gurkha, the UP and the Bengal, the Purbiya and the Bengal soldiers rise against the British, because they have been ruled now for over 100 years. But actually, the history is his story. Whose story you want to tell? Sorry, ladies, there's no her story, huh? There's only his story. Whose story you want to tell? And the history has been written from the lens of the region that now rules. From a Punjab perspective, we have not done a good job in telling our story, that the first war of independence probably was what the British called as the Anglo-Sikh War, what Shah Muhammad calls as Punjab te Hind di jang hon chali hai. Because if the Purbiya and the Bengali soldiers wouldn't have come with the British on this side of Satluj River, probably this force would have given the independence to India way back in 1847. You see the perspective. You didn't need to wait for 1859. Whose story are you telling? Our story has not been written. And I've written in that both the books, First War of Independence. I'm not hesitating of calling it as First War of Independence. It is the first war of independence from my perspective. It's my story. Yeah? Okay. So this is, and they were Gurkha soldiers. Okay. So that's why I say it was a very secular, very forward-looking empire that was created. And to call it as a Sikh empire is not doing justification to it. Look at the grandness of it. And now let's tell you something very interesting. And if it hurts someone's feelings, history is history. Okay? I'm asking for forgiveness here, because I'm going to say something, someone might get hurt out here. But history is history. So he takes over, Ranjit Singh takes over this area. Majha Ilaka and Lahore, this whole area. And his vision now is immediately, Jinni Sikh Mislane, all the 12 missiles come together now. I've taken the center of, Lahore was like Delhi, right? I've taken over. Let's come together. And now starts the fun part, because we are Sikhs. We never come together, right? So now starts the fun part. This is 1799. He throws his call in 1799 itself. Let's come together. Together we will actually create an empire, right? Now, all this along the Satluj River, and you see the Punjab today is this. This is the Punjab, right? This is Patiala, Ludhiana, Jalandhar somewhere here, Ropar, all this along the Satluj River. The states on this side, which were your previous Phulkiya missiles and the other missiles, Haryana and all these, they all run to the British. Save us, save us. Yeah? So, this whole thing, and he does not give up. He tries hard. Goes on, tries hard. But then finally around 1805, 1806, he figures out, no, this is a lost cause. My own people will not come together. One thing that I'm going to say now, it's me saying this. I'm not saying to anyone. I say sometimes when I look at this map and I say, this region is our East Punjab right now, right? And majority of that region is the one which in 1809 chose to go on to the other side. And today, after partition, this is the only Punjab that we are left with. Are all the problems of this Punjab that we are facing today is because we've landed in a territory that was never aligned to the Sikh cause. I don't know, just a statement. Don't mind about it, huh? If you're from that territory. You get me what I'm saying? This is a question I'm posing. Any PhD student out here? You may want to study this subject, huh? Someone who wants to study, anthropology, history, give it to someone. Figure this out. I don't know the answer. I'm just raising a question. Right? So, okay. So he's only got control here. So he now says, I claim so much, but I have only possession of this much. These guys, then 1809, finally he gives up on these guys. It's a lost cause here. Signs the 1809 Treaty of Amritsar with the British on this side. Because all these guys have gone on that side. He says, thank you so much. Let them go there that side. 1809, I will not cross the Satluj River. British will not cross the Satluj River. Done? Now I'm going to play my game. Clear till now? Is it too much of a history? I've lost people, Lord.
No.
Huh? Give me the energy. I'm not reading a paper. Give me the energy. Huh? Yeah. It's a perception. I'm telling you my story. I'm telling you our story. It's her story, if you want to say it. Okay? All right. Now he says, let's get the act together. That's gone. Satluj, this side, it's all gone. I don't want it also. Now he says, I still am claiming all the area here. But how do I get it? There's so many forces that are acting on it. And now he starts his expansions. 1813. Many invasions happen after 1809. 1813, finally he takes over Attock. 1818, to reach till 1818, some 8 or 9 invasions happened to Multan. Finally he takes South Punjab. 1819, 2 invasions into Kashmir. Finally in 1819 he takes over Srinagar. And thereafter, around 1834, he sees only 7 years of Northwest Frontier Province. Sometimes in the maps you see, we try to beat our chest. We have this tendency to beat our chest. Glorious, glorious. We show Afghanistan as a part of the Sikh Empire. 1834 he reaches Peshawar, and a few kilometers from there, Jamrod, that's where Ranjit Singh's territory ends. There is no Afghanistan in your empire. Anyone giving you those maps? There's no point even having discussions with them, because today we are sitting in a world, you challenge something, they challenge back, and the tangent, I'd rather do my work, right? Anyone can be a historian today, right? 1834, finally they reach Peshawar, and Ranjit Singh dies in 1841. The empire collapses totally. 1847, First Anglo War. 1849, everything collapses. Very short period of time. Okay, now let's just go through visually now. I'm going to go through the first phase. Now it's all visuals coming in. 1813, finally he takes over Attock and Jhelum between 1813 to 1819. Attock is only 1813, and thereafter he continues with 1819. So that's the period I'm talking about, Jhelum and Attock. 1813 he reaches, is there a pointer here? No? No? Okay, I'll have to keep raising my hands. This area, Attock is there. Somewhere here is Katas Raj. It's a Shakti Peeth. Anyone knows? Raising your hand.
Question ਸੀਗਾ
Hanji.
ਇਹ ਭੰਗੀ ਜੋ ਸਭ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਉੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੀ
Pangis are finished. Finished. He's taken over.
even the lands that were
1799 he outplays Bhangis.
all across
Pangis. Okay, let's go back here. This whole area, Satluj, right? This is Byas, Satluj here. All these missiles, Nishaniya, Karoda Singh, Phulkiyan, primarily Phulkiyan, they all go and join British. This area is already, Pangi though he is displaced in Lahore, 1799. He's taken them over. Alliances start happening, all of them come together. This side comes together. And now starts, this is not an internal fight now. Now he's going external. Okay? So these guys have already aligned. 1809 when the treaty is signed, he's already taken over our all missiles. They've all aligned. 1813, this is the area. Somewhere here, Katas Raj, he takes over. Katas Raj is a Shakti Peeth. This is the pond. You know, anyone knows about Shakti Peeths? To understand yourself, always try and read about others. Because you're coming from the same culture. You're not living in isolation. Agar isolation is wrong, na, so we are living inside a well. The do khuda daddu rahe honge si. Anji.
Temples of the Shakti goddess.
Shakti Peeths are, yes, goddess. So, no, Shakti Peeths are basically related to Shaivite tradition. The worshippers of Shiva. When Shiva married, Shiva has two wives. His first wife, Sati, it's a Puranic tale. She dies, and he's actually he does not take care of her in his lifetime, because he's a Malang. Shiva is a Malang. He's always dressed up like a mitti laga ke the and all sapanal. He's like representing a Aghori tradition. He never takes care of. But when she dies, he feels the pain, and he doesn't want to leave the body. This is the mythology. I don't know if it's right or no, but he doesn't leave her body. He just holds her body and doesn't leave her. A kind of a remorse. He's holding her body. Then the Puranic trail goes that the divine energies then decide Shiva, who's the lord of destruction. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Lord of, he's not going to be able to operate. So finally, the Lord energy says he's too much stuck with his dead wife. They throw a chakra and split the wife's body into multiple parts. I think there are 51 or 52 Shakti Peeths, something like that. And her parts, wherever they fall, they become Shakti Peeths. So you have that many Shakti Peeths. So this is the place where the narrative goes that her eyes fall. So tears. Right? Okay. Now, in this Katas Raj area, Hari Singh Nalwa, his contribution is huge. He comes here. This is the fort that he builds here. This is an aerial picture of that I've taken. This is the administrative office which the records write. Interestingly, and I have this picture in my first book, but when Lal Krishna Advani, the politician of India from the BJP party, many years back in Vajpayee's time, he expressed the desire to visit Katas Raj in Pakistan. Till that time, this site was absolutely abandoned. So Pakistan quickly got into an activity of putting this site together. And the government of India's notification under British rule says this particular 1921 that this place is Hari Singh Nalwa's administrative office. But what in putting together the Katas Raj for visit of L.K. Advani, the Pakistan government has put a board there, Ramchandra temple. Now this doesn't look like a Ramchandra temple. This has no altar inside to place the idol. In a temple, there will always be an altar to place. Bottom line is, there's a board that has been placed. This has now become a Ramchandra temple. History is now, it's Ramchandra temple. Because you can't change it now, it's done. I've written in my book, in fact, someone asked me, give me the references, I gave him the references, but I don't think it'll ever change now. It's done, gone and dusted. So this is the front face of that particular building. He establishes this. After they control this area, they move further from here, Katas Raj, they move further to Jhelum, to the place called Rohtas. And you'll find in episode 19, this is the picture clicked from inside the Chua Baba Nanak Gurdwara. Because Guru Nanak goes up the Tilla on the mountain, where he has dialogues with Balnath Jogi of the Kanphatta Jogi sect. And this Gurdwara was made in Ranjit Singh's time in memory of Guru Nanak's visit to Tilla Jogiyan. This is the fort that they took over, Ranjit Singh's time, Rohtas Kila, which was built in the times of Sher Shah Suri in 1540s. I've clicked this picture from inside in my first book. This Gurdwara is now maintained, by the way. Okay, and now he reaches Attak, where I said in a short period of time, much before Ranjit Singh, in the turmoil of much before the missile period, the Marathas had reached till there. But Attak, along the river Indus, has always been an Afghanistan territory for long. Always means for long it has been an Afghanistan territory, because Punjab never had this boundary of, the Afghanis were ruling till here. This is a massive fort. High security Pakistan army establishment inside this. In my journey, somehow an energy got me inside it. And that's the problem I faced with the Indian government, that how do you get inside it? I've done nothing wrong. If the energy enables me, I will be loyal to my history. The government should have documented these. If someone has enabled me to get inside, so I have had to prove myself. I've got nothing against any political nations. I'm just a person researching, but this is a very complicated space that you're operating in today. One slip of the tongue, my own community can discard me. One slip of the tongue, the governments can discard you. Right? That's what you're operating in. Very, very tough. These might be just books for people. This might be just a documentary series, and that's why I'm saying these docu-series are just probably videos for majority of my community. They're just videos. They don't understand what's gone behind it to create it. But anyhow, it's a high security place. But I want to tell you is, inside this, now I want to give you insights of your community. Sometime, if required, we'll talk about Nanak Panth. Nanak Panth is destroyed right now. Nanak Panth was very big. It's a different topic altogether. But I want to give you some clues about it. There is a Gurudwara and a Mandir inside this Atak. And this is the picture I'm clicking of that. If anyone can read Punjabi, can you? If you can't, I'll read it for you. Ik Onkar. इस फर्श दी सेवा कराई श्रीमती मनोहरा देवी सपत्नी लाला जी परजामल आनंद पिशोर अंदर शहर वाले संवत so and so. This is not Singhs and Kaurs. They are all the so-called Hindus, as you call them today, and you divide it between Sikh and Hindu. They are all Nanak's lovers. Too much of divide has happened now. Okay. Then starts his expedition southwards. Now, it's not 1818 is when he captures Multan, but 1802 till 1818, eight invasions are made into Multan. Multan is ruled by Muzaffar Khan, an Afghani. And Multan fort is very, very solid fort. And finally, in 1818, this is the cannon that is taken. If you go to Lahore, outside the Lahore museum, this cannon is lying there on the road. Anyone can recognize this cannon? Zamzama. Also known as Pangiyan di Top. Piche de, it's there in my book. Either piche ek plaque hai. It didn't write Zamzama, it write Pangiyan di Top. Pangi kaun hai? Pangi missile. It's said that this top, Ahmad Shah Abdali was taking it away to Afghanistan. And from one of the rivers, because you have to cross many rivers in Punjab, I don't know which river it was, but it had drowned. It got stuck there. The Pangis retrieved it. And that's how it came to Pangi. That's one narrative. I don't know what's right or wrong. But Ranjit Singh inherited this. This is a very powerful cannon. There is a book by Ghulam Jilani. Ghulam Jilani writes in his narrative, the live narrative that he writes. Again, look at the soldier. This is Ghulam Jilani, is not a Sikh soldier as you define today. He's a Ranjit Singh soldier. He says he was next in the line of the 117 who perished in supporting this cannon, because at Multan this cannon kept firing. Hari Singh Nalwa took this cannon to Multan. And these wheels had become loose, as he describes. I find it hard to believe, if a cannon's wheels go loose, how can you put your shoulders? I find it hard to believe, but I don't know what it was. But he writes that these soldiers were giving their support to fire, and once the cannon would get fired, they all would die. I find it hard, how can you give a support to say, right? But he writes it. And he's the 117th in the line. Next was his turn. And he says, the cannon reaches a breach in the gates of the Multan fort. And so he survives to write this narrative. Okay? Now, there's an interesting observation in the Multan Museum inside the fort. In Pakistan, they're trying to kind of now revive their history, and there's a trying to embrace it. A lot has lost, a lot of water has gone under the bridge. But we should give credit where it is good, right? So in the museum, they've got Multan's history, starting with Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. So if you see a docu-series, you will find a section, episode
15?
20. Episode 20. You'll find we show the temple of Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad is sung in our Asadi War every day, right? Asaki War every day. In the morning in the Gurdwara we sing, Har Jug Jug Bhagat Paya, Pyaj Rakda Aaya Ram Raje, right? This was a city of Hiranyakashipu, who was the father of Prahlad. And Prahlad, the festival of Holi is celebrated. I'll not get into the story, but the bottom line is they've shown that Prahlad's depiction and the Holika and that all those who know the story, they know it. And then he goes Alexander and this and this and this and this, and they come to the Ranjit Singh era. And this is the picture that's shown. This is just my observation. If you go to Amritsar next time, notice they've made Ranjit Singh on the horse out there near the Darbar Sahib area, right? There's a big, it looks more like now a Disneyland, right? I mean, Darbar Sahib's feeling has become a Disneyland feeling now, right? So, but that Ranjit Singh is standing with on the horse, and the horse is like this. Always they will show a winner, a ruler, the right foot of the horse will be up. That's a supreme, that's a power. That's display of power.
Galloping horse.
Always they'll show that one leg will be, I mean, you can't show, yeah, I mean, this point is that in a statue, you'll always show the right hand for the ruler, okay? Right leg up. And always when there's a war going on, the one who wins it is always shown on top by the artist. But this is not our artist who's drawing it, right? Halaki, Hari Singh Nalwa defeats Muzaffar Khan, but this is Hari Singh Nalwa and this is Muzaffar Khan. This is not our artist drawing it. So who's drawing the history? That's why I say it's his story. Just an observation. This is in Multan Museum. So I observed it and I said, okay, he finally won, but Hari Singh Nalwa is shown with his Judah, like out here. And when I look at these things, again, it's an artist depiction. It's artist depiction. Sometimes we want to show all, right now they're making a movie on Hari Singh Nalwa, and I'm seeing it on the, how do you know he was dressed up like a Nihang? How do you know? Here's another artist depicting him without Judah, without anything on it. They are warriors, they are going on. But I mean, I'll show you something else beautiful about Hari Singh Nalwa, which should make you think about it, right? Okay, now starts 1813 to 1819, the conquest towards Srinagar. He's all expanding on this side. Now, 1813 is an unsuccessful conquest, unsuccessful expedition through the flatlands of Jammu, through Tosa Maidan, they go up. They don't succeed. Okay? Somewhere around 1818 to 1819, something interesting happens in Afghanistan. Dost Muhammad, Shah Shuja's brother, they are all from the Abdali Empire, their descendants. Dost Muhammad kicks out his brother and takes over the throne of Afghanistan, Kabul. Shah Shuja, along with his wife, he was the earlier ruler, right? He was thrown out. Shah Shuja, along with his wife, which is Wafa Begum, runs and from there comes through the Khyber Pass, comes till Attock. And the soldiers of Kabul, because Attock is all Afghanistan, capture him out there. Imprison him, and he's sent to Srinagar. Srinagar was a part of Afghanistan that time. This I'm talking about 1818 somewhere. He's sent to Afghanistan. Part of Afghanistan, which is Srinagar. Take him away from Kabul, put him in Srinagar, into the jail. Wafa Begum has the Kohinoor with her because he runs with the Kohinoor. And the Kohinoor is there. And sorry, beta, this is too much of history, huh? No worries. Sorry. Okay. Puts the. Huh? Okay. Puts the Kohinoor under her petticoat or whatever it was and runs and reaches Lahore. Ranjit Singh, coming to know, as being a strategist, if someone from the Afghan side is coming in, of course, not Sarkar, I also say Maharaja, right? As Sarkar gives her refuge. She's taken to Mubarak Haveli and given a place there. And she then says to Ranjit Singh, "Mere husband nu lage ne, Srinagar, help me. In return, I will give you the Kohinoor." I don't know what the motivation of Ranjit Singh was. I have no idea. But then starts the expedition. People tend to say that he did it for Kohinoor. I have no idea. But he had tried in 1813 and he had failed. Hari Singh Nalwa goes with the forces. Hari Singh Nalwa's contribution is quite a bit. They go in 1819. They win over Kashmir. Shah Shuja is freed, brought into Lahore. And Shah Shuja comes to know this is the only wealth I've got left, Kohinoor, and my wife has promised it to Ranjit Singh. So he starts dilly-dallying. So Ranjit Singh surrounds the Mubarak Haveli, and that's how the Kohinoor is passed down to Ranjit Singh. Okay? All right. So that's Srinagar. Okay. Anyone been to Srinagar? Yeah. You recognize this fort right on the top? Hari Parbat. The fort there. And at the bottom, if you do this trek, there is this fort here. They're talking about the whole history of this. All I want to bring you here is just to say this is all factual. Later on, Sikh and Dogra period forces also used to keep the vigil over the city from this fort. It's not that I'm making it up, okay? Now starts an interesting phase. Although I've shown the expedition from Srinagar that side, but the expedition is going from Lahore, they're going from there, they're going from all over. But now the intensity is going westwards. Now you're getting to the Khyber Pass. Khorasan khasmana kiya, Hindustan daraya. Guru Nanak in 1500, and he's born 1549. I'm assuming he must have written it in probably 1600. I don't know. I have no idea. Now that Khorasan khasmana kiya, Hindustan daraya, Sindhu river, now they are going to cross the Sindhu river. This is the philosophy that I'm trying to bring in. That now finally they have now taken. There have been no invasions thereafter into the subcontinent. Yes, we have been divided. But once Hari Singh Nalwa reaches Khyber Pass, there is not a single invasion from the Khyber Pass that has happened on this side, either into India of today, which you can't come in because you come to Pakistan, or either into Pakistan or into the British India, or even into the Ranjit Singh's premium, once Hari Singh Nalwa reached there. So I think this is the philosophy that I was building it up from. Right? Okay. So these expeditions start happening. Now, this is a very interesting area that I'm going to now start expanding on because I've done a lot of work in this area. Up there, Attak, Haripur, Shergarh, Peshawar. I'm going to expand this. And now you see the details out here. You were asking something.
Yes, sir. Mindful of the time, I want to know something about your experience because you traveled to the places we never be traveled. So the people you met, some experience that you had that you'd like to share.
Keep that hold on. Things will start coming in. I will keep sharing. I'm telling you, sharing my experiences along in bits and bits, right? I think I'm sharing my experiences. Call me one day if you want to talk about passion, purposes, discovery of yourself. I'll tell you my whole story. Yeah, it's not, I'm telling you the story. There's a topic here, I'm going with it. I don't want to deviate from the topic, right? I don't want to make it my session. There's a topic I've been given. Because people have come to hear this topic, right? And I'm still telling my stories inside it. I'm telling you a lot of tidbits here and there. Just be happy with that much. Okay? Okay. Now, I know. What's your name?
Sumit.
Huh?
Sumit.
Sumit, next time I come, I want you to come here, okay? And I want you to be coming with an energy that I want to listen to all that he's saying because ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਅਲਰਜ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ to topic change ਕਰ ਲੈ right no that's not fair that's not fair huh I'm also keeping you awake yeah I'm joking come on yeah I'm not putting you in a spot there's no spotlight out here but I'm putting you in a spot okay all right this one here 1834 You know, not many people will talk about these topics, so bear with me. You know, I'm giving you information that probably you'll not be able to digest, but I'm showing you pictures, I'll show you some videos. Take this with you, right? Yeah? What's the time? Okay, 4:52. Hold on, another 20 minutes. I've got the stage now, I'm not going to stop, right? Hold on, I can't stop here. Okay, 1818 to 1834, now they've reached this area, Haripur, along the river Indus. This name Haripur is named after Hari Singh Nalwa. Okay, you wanted the story, I'm going to give you a story now. After that, I'll stop for a while to have another story, okay? Hari Singh Nalwa, we are trying to project him as a Nihang warrior going here, though you have no idea what he was. You want to project him as the only warrior? I'll give you the facets of Hari Singh Nalwa. Which I don't think the people in Punjab will depict him as that because they only want warriors. Hari Singh Nalwa is an able administrator, a great gardener. In Gujranwala, you'll find my book, the garden that he makes, he imports plants from Japan. A great gardener, an able administrator. Look at those administrative offices he's making. Why is he being sent to Multan, to Katasraj, to Srinagar? Why? Apart from leading the forces, he's administrating. He's the first guy. You need the most able administrator to establish a rule and then move into something else quickly. That's how you do it, right? And in Srinagar, at Mutton, the Guru Granth Sahib, the most beautifully handwritten Guru Granth Sahib, is gifted by Hari Singh Nalwa, a spiritual person, a great architect. This is the British period picture of the Rangila Canal that he builds in Haripur. This is the fort. This section is from that Ranjit Singh era. This has been added by the British, the bricks here. And he builds this Rangila Canal. A great architect. From the river Dor, he gets the water through these canals into this area where the plantation of Maltas starts. The red shot Malta, which you get in Australia, right, was grown in this land. Now the story for you. So we are traveling in this region and I had 9 people with me. Felt hungry. We are in the Haripur area. We stopped at a restaurant. And there comes Badri Zaman. Badri is not an Islamic name, right? Badrinath. Badri Zaman. Badri Zaman says, Sardar Sahab, tusi aao. He serves us a lavish meal. He didn't even let us order. Lavish meal. So I thought whatever is the amount, we'll settle, right? Pakistan currency is too weak, so it doesn't matter. So he kept serving, everyone kept eating. And finally I'm leaving. So I said, bill dein Badri. तो कहता है की गल कर दे सरदार साहब बिल तुहाडे कोलों राइट मेरी ना जितनी खेती है ना इत्थे माल्टे दी this is the gift of Hari Singh Nalwa to my family and generations today. And I go back to the car. There are 2 big boras of red bloodshot Maltas lying in the car. मैं क्या यार बदरी मैं की खावांगा यार मैं रिसर्च से निकलिया कहना मैनू नहीं पता ये मेरा कार है थोड़े वास्ते and this is my debt to a Sikh. I'm giving it, right? Does you like the story? हाँ जी हाँ That time that he's speaking is not to be added in my time, huh? Okay. All right, it's added. Okay.
If your forefathers or anybody visited Mutton, they would write their name in there. So if you were to go to Mutton now, you could actually read when your grandfather or forefather.
Yeah. That thing is, you see the episode number 19 or so, you'll find that that entire tradition is finished off. We do cover that. Okay, this is the perspective of Hari Singh Nalwa. Okay, he's not a Nihang warrior alone. Anyone who makes a picture of him just trying to show, आजकल बना रहे हैं, पंजाब में देखिए आदमी क्या पागल हो गए हैं यार. This is all you want to show. Standing at some fort and he's doing, show him as what he stands for. Read the book Champion of Khalsa Ji by Vaneet Nalwa, Hari Singh Nalwa. You will see the perspectives of that man, who what he was. Okay, these are some of the forts. Michni Fort, now a police station. Okay, now this is my closest to me. I told you this area. This area, I'm telling you, I'm getting into this Peshawar area now, right? Okay. To do this work, I started earlier, a lot of preparation, unconscious preparation. I remember I started, if you like to do gardening, become the garden. As from 17 years of age, unconsciously, I didn't do this work because I wanted to do this work. The energies have thrust me into this. At a very young age, I had read these 5 books by Hari Ram Gupta, in which, in the chapter on Ranjit Singh, and the one book on Ranjit Singh, are written these 27 forts along the river Indus up till Jamrod that were made in the Sikh era. And Hari Ram Gupta has a beautiful way of writing things, right? He starts every chapter with hilarious quotes on top. And something to this, I forget that, but he says, and he's using not from a religion perspective, I think he's using from a religion perspective, but I don't want you to use from a religion perspective. He says, what Hindus could not stop, it's a very hilarious poetic thing he says, but the meaning is what Hindus could not stop, the Sikhs stopped at the Khyber. Something to that extent. It was a very hilarious way he writes. So this 27 forts were written. And when the gates started opening for me, some strange energy, that's a separate chapter, I can't tell you here because there's a lot of other things, but when that state started opening, for me, the day it opened up, these 27 forts were imprinted here. You are not preparing. When the Guru Nanak docu-series, the gates started opening, Guru Nanak's narrative for that, which sources was already imprinted here. We were not reading Guru Nanak that time because you have to go on an 18-month journey. You're not trying to understand Guru Nanak that time. It should be here. You just want to do the task. That's how this happened. And this area, we start going. Now I'm going to draw a map which is not available anywhere. I've drawn this myself. We have reached this area, up there, and up till Peshawar. Now, this is the Khyber Pass. After I did this entire chapter, this is chapter number 11 in the second book called Legendary Forts. Khyber Pass, Kabul, Michni Fort, Jamrod will show you this. And they reach Peshawar. If the forces cross the Jamrod, they come to Peshawar. They rest in Peshawar, it's a big town. And from there, 2 forces would go historically. How did Kashmir become part of Afghanistan? Because one force will go like this, cross the Indus River at Dalban, and once you cross there, you will reach Srinagar very easily. The other route will be come to Attock, which I showed you earlier, and you cross and come here and you reach Lahore. Once you reach Lahore, you reach Delhi. That's how they were coming. So, those 27 forts, most of them don't exist now. And for me, even going and touching that soil was very important. Someone was telling me Harfan Mola is not unstoppable, but all fun, right? Absolutely, it's all fun. This is where the passion is all built in. Then you become unstoppable. Because to reach those areas, to even click that photograph, I'll show you the next one. But this whole thing was the second line of defense. All these dots that you're seeing are all those forts that were built. Here to block the routes coming from here, there to block the routes going to Kashmir. This is the second line of defense. Anyone from military will understand there has to be a first line of defense and a second line of defense. This is expanded area. The first line of defense is when you come into Khyber Pass, all the forts concentrated in this area to block that route. These are the forts that we are talking about. Okay? I'm going to show you some of them and we have to start bringing to an end now. This is the mad Amardeep Singh, for whom the value was here to stand at that place where after the collapse of the Lahore Darbar, in somewhere in 1870s or 1860s, this guy called D.J.F. Newall in the book Highlands of India goes and stands at somewhere like this. This is the Indus River. And he's plotting the various fort of Darband, Kriplion. He's writing Gandhgad. And he's writing place where a Sikh regiment was destroyed in the great flood of the Indus in 1830s. He's writing on the Maharaja Ranjit Singh's time. There's a Baltoro glacier up in the Baltistan which breaches, and the water comes in the Indus. And these guys are camped there. That's why they say when you go for a trek, especially in these areas, never put your camp next to a dried river, because you don't know when the snow melts, you guys just get washed away. Keep that in mind, okay? So they get all washed away. Now, this thing looks like the mountains look big. There's a Tarbela Dam here. The entire thing is silted. You can't go down now. So even he has made that from down, so these mountains are up, because the perspective is from down up. And I could not go down, so I had to stand on top and click this panoramic view. To me, and I've tried to mark it in my book, but to me this important thing was to even touch the soil. In that area, go back here, in the first line, so this is where I'm standing and clicking that picture. This is Shergarh Fort. When that water took over the entire area, this side was the state of Amb. That Amb state went inside the water, with the Indus River being the Tarbela Dam being built. The Nawabs of Amb shifted on this side, and they shifted on this side and came to Shergarh. And on the hilltop, there is another fort built by Hari Singh Nalwa. This, you see, the places to keep the guns. This is the roof. On top of that, they made it into a home, so they've made a roof on top. But the fort is still there. And from that fort, if you look up, there's a picket on top. And there are ruins lying up there of some rocks. And what is said is that the forces used to keep watch over the fort out here from there. Okay. Pir Sabak. I need to give you the context. Now I'm getting into this ring out here. Somewhere here, I'm here. Pir Sabak is Naushera. Just at the ridge, edge of this second ring. And then we get to here. Naushera, Pir Sabak. History, again I'm saying his story. What I'm going to show you a small clipping out here. My forefathers have made this, but they also made a mistake. Two great people died in this battle at Pir Sabak. Akali Phula Singh, and who else? Bal Badr Kumar, the head of the Gurkha army under Ranjit Singh. But we have to write our own story. So we write our story which is biased. We don't give credit to Bal Badr Kumar. We make a Gurdwara out there. We make a memorial celebrating Akali Phula Singh. But we forget that if we would have given credit to Bal Badr Kumar, what a glorious chapter it would be. And we have to learn something from the British in the next slide I'm going to show you. But let's see this video. In the Battle of Naushera at Pir Sabak in 1823, the Sikh army fought against the Afghan Duranis. The losses were significant on both the sides, with the Sikhs losing two of their brave generals, Akali Phula Singh of the Nihang Battalion and Bal Badr Kumar of the Gurkha Battalion. That's the Kabul River. We are in the village Pir Sabak in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area of Pakistan. Next to the river Kabul, on the banks, stands the structure which was once the Gurdwara, and in front of it is the Samad, a memorial of Akali Phula Singh. Akali Phula Singh was a Nihang, a great warrior
in the army of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He's credited to have.
Okay, anyway, I just want to show this much. I've shown you that thing. Now, jump ahead. Balbhadra Kuwar, how did he reach Lahore? I know Nepali also, by the way. So I was born in Gorakhpur. My father had a business. As a kid, I used to go to Nepal. At my father's shop, these Gurkha soldiers would come and they would talk amongst themselves. There are some Gurkha soldiers who are working for the Indian army and the Nepal army, and the others who are working for the British army, the Brunei army, the Singapore army, the Malaysian, and the other places. And the ones who are working in India and Nepal, they would look at these other people who would earn higher salaries and they would say, "Hey, Tapai Lahori, okay? Hey, are you a Lahori? Tapai, are you a Lahori? Hey, Tapai Lahori, okay? Hajur, mo Lahori ho? Yes, sir, I'm a Lahori. Lahore." Balbhadra Kuwar in Dehradun, there is this memorial. On this side of the memorial, that's the Nala Pani where this Balbhadra Kuwar had taken. British attacked him. He had taken over Dehradun, by the way. That's why I showed Dehradun. Gurkhas were attacking Punjab. They had reached up to Dehradun. British do a better job than us, by the way. Because what the British have written is, this memorial is inscribed as a tribute of respect for our gallant adversary. They're still saying gallant adversary. Balbhadar, commander of the fort, and his brave Gurkhas, who were afterwards, while in the service of Ranjit Singh, shot down in their ranks to the last man by the Afghan artillery. And we have not given any credit to Balbhadar Kuwar. Because we want only a Sikh empire. You know how narratives are created? So, Shab Qadar, here. Now we reach the first line of defense, Shab Qadar. And then I'm going to quickly move to Jamrud, then Peshawar, Jamrud, and this thing, and then we start bringing it to an end now. Shab Qadar. This fort was built in 1837 on a mound which till date, Shab Qadar is the name of that place, Shab Qadar. So now they call it as a Shab Qadar fort. But in the records of the Sikh, Umdatul Tariq and the others, what they say is Shankargarh. The fort was Shankargarh. Built in the times of Ranjit Singh. On this mound, which till date they say, Sikho Teri, Sikha di Teri. Sikho Teri, it's a mound. The Afghans still call it, oh, Sikho Teri. Go there, right? On that is the Shab Qadar fort. Ventura, General Ventura, the French Napoleon Army's general, was posted in this fort when Ranjit Singh dies in 1839, sorry. And in 1840, Sher Singh, who's his son, is visiting this fort. And Ventura welcomes him. But the Afghans come to know the Raja of Punjab has come in. Sher Singh has come in. So in the night they plan an attack and they attack this fort. And these guys fight and they're caught unaware and they push them out. But next in the morning when they get up, now there is a court martial to be done. Because under Ventura's command, the fort was attacked and breached. So Sher Singh cannot give a verdict to Ventura. So what they say is, this is an interesting one. They say, the forces fought very well. There was a breach. The fault was not of the forces. The fault was of the gates. So the gates are sentenced to 100 years of imprisonment. And the gates are yet tied out here. In my book, you'll find an inscription on this is written. 1940, they should have been released. But 1947, partition happens. British India, they did not focus on it. After 1947, it's become a Pakistan government's property. So when I was there, I told the person, I said, "Inu riha kar do on, bichariyan nu." वो कहते नहीं साहब होते होने इधर तो पैसे बढ़ावांगे सी. So if you want to go and see it, right? Pay the fees and go and see it now. Okay, now we've reached towards the frontier now. Peshawar. And then we go to Jamrud, Peshawar. This is Peshawar. All the forts in Afghanistan, which are big forts, are always called by the name of Bala Hisar. This name you'll find everywhere. Kabul fort, Kabul, the biggest fort is Bala Hisar. Peshawar, the biggest fort is Bala Hisar. There was a junior of mine, I studied in Doon School in Dehradun. He is the descendant from Shah Shuja's family. They settled in Dehradun, Ali Khan. And his home in Dehradun is also called as Bala Hisar in that memory. Okay? So, this is the fort which Hari Singh Nalwa gets inside. 1834 they reach here. After 1818 to attack karke 1834 they finally come inside. Inside the fort you'll find some Sikh architecture. There is this inscription which the British have put. So now they start using the word Sikh this thing, right? So they write Sikh inscription, and it says inscription of the Ark Gate to the Sikh dynasty. The Sikhs invaded Peshawar, rebuilt the fort and called it Samirgarh. No, it was not Samirgarh. It was Sumergarh. There's an error. Sumergarh. Meru is a spiritual place inside. It's a Meru Parvat. Like you go to Bromo Island in Indonesia, you have the small Hindu community staying there. There's a volcano. They call it a Meru Parvat. There are many Meru Parvat, spiritual thing. Sumeru, the pinnacle of the Merus, is Kailash. So this is Sumeru. Now this shows you how the societies and the names are all intertwined. And this is what is written. Okay. All right. Then this to me was the pinnacle. In 2014, I went in my first book. I stood on this side of the road of this Jamrod fort, and I was desirous to going inside, but this is under army. I could not go. 2014, there was Taliban problem at its peak. No one was going with me. I somehow entered, clicked this picture and walked away. But I never used to sleep in the night. I said it was so near yet so far. And when you are so passionate, when you want to do gardening, you become the garden. When you want to get into Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area, you become a Pakhtun, right? So that desire finally opened the gates for me. I didn't do it. The energy opened the gates for me in 2016. And I wanted to just stand on this where Hari Singh Nalwa died. And I want to click the picture of the Khyber Pass from when Khorasan Khasmana Kiya Hindustan Daraya. This is where they all used to come from. And finally I stood there, this is clicked by me, and I'm looking at Khyber Pass. Right? Okay, now bringing it all to an end, just give me 5 more minutes. It's a very interesting area. Now we've taken over 1830, 1839 and all, 1838, Peshawar is taken over. Now from Lahore they've gone to, 1813 they've taken over Srinagar. 1834, a new conquest starts. You are from Jammu, right? So the Dogra contributions now start happening. I do not see, we have a tendency of vilifying the Dogras. You look, if you don't get your act under order, you've got the empire. It's all opportunity. Ranjit Singh took the empire from the Abdalis. When the opportunity came, you don't have a succession planning, you don't do your act together, someone else is going to take it, right? That's how the Dogra aspect. But look at the Dogra contributions. All throughout, up till Peshawar, up till Srinagar, the Dogras are going along with you. They're working with you, they're in partnership. There's no difference. You're all working together. Peshawar is taken by the joint forces. But finally, in 1841, with the empire, 1847, 1849, after Ranjit Singh's collapse, when the infighting starts happening, of course, the Dogras have to take their own advantage and they moved away. But 1834, from the area of Kishtwar near Jammu, there is an expedition that goes under the leadership of Zorawar Singh. You heard the name of Zorawar Singh? General Zorawar Singh. Oh, it's your name, right? Generals are sitting here. Right? So Zorawar Singh leads the battalion. The problem today is when you write something I've written an article, the Sikhs and Dogras will keep fighting on the internet on the comment section. The Sikhs will say, he was a Sikh. The Dogras will say, he was a Dogra. He was an employee of Lahore Darbar. Why don't you forget that and leave it there? Why you bother about his faith? Or why do you bother about his cultural aspect? What are you fighting on? I mean, I worked for so many years in the corporate world, no one asked me, are you a Sikh or what you are. I'm getting paid for my credence, what I give to the organization. He's working for Lahore. Anyhow, he leads a battalion, 1834, he takes over Leh, Ladakh. The Treaty of Amritsar, it clearly, what Zorawar Singh and Gulab Singh are signing on behalf of Ranjit Singh Sarkar-e-Khalsa, is there in Gulabnama, read it. All treaties are there. The Khalsa Sarkar is signing it with the Tibetans. This area was Chota Tibet. And the Tibetans, the Ladakhis are signing it against. They've given up the territory. Now what happens in 1840, there's a small expedition happens to Baltistan, which is in Pakistan's Skardu region. There's no fight that happens. They enter, this is a Zorawar fort, by the way, in Ladakh. There's no mention of any Ranjit Singh or Sikh aspect because right now it's all divided. You'll find no mention of that in this. It's under the army. There's no mention. Because history is getting eradicated, right? What you want to tell. 1840, Baltistan expedition happens. No fight. Kharpocho fort, Ahmad Shah in this Baltistan region drops his arm, walks away, and the forces under Zorawar Singh enter Skardu. Baltistan. This is Gilgit Baltistan in Pakistan area. High altitude. In the lands that are owned there, this is from the municipal record. In Urdu, anyone can read Urdu, it's written as Khalsa Sarkar, the land's ownership. Till date. Okay, now this is towards the end now. This whole expedition from June 1841, it starts into Tibet. For a moment, just pause here and get your memory together. British were very smart. They had taken over the whole of India. No, they've taken off up till Sutlej, but they're always building these buffer states. Because at the front, if someone comes in, I should not have to fight. That's a good strategy, right? Someone else will fight on my behalf. So they don't enter Nepal. British, you think, couldn't have entered Nepal? Easily, right? They never go into Nepal. Because from Tibet or from Russia, the Tsars come in rolling through Tibet down into Nepal, into the British India, then the first ones to fight will be the Nepalis. After British take over the entire, and the British go into Afghanistan for the first and second Afghan war, Ranjit Singh does not allow them. They go through Sindh and they lose it and come back. But when they take over Punjab, they build two buffer states. One buffer state is the northwest frontier provinces. Till today, in fact, after Pakistan was created, the northwest frontier provinces beyond Peshawar were considered as independent territories of Pakistan. They were not a part of Pakistan. It's only recently that they are FATA. Only recently they included a FATA, theoretically on the paper. But they were under control, but they were independent territories because British gave them a status of independent territory because they wanted them to fight. Then comes Kashmir. When the Lahore Darbar is taken, now this is where the history starts getting warped because we vilify the Dogras. But the fact is, you were fighting in the Lahore Darbar from 1841 till 1849. You kept killing each other. You kept fighting amongst yourself. So of course, British offered to the Dogras that you take a buffer state on top. Kashmir, that's also a buffer state because Europeans and Russians can come rolling down from Kashmir into Lahore, right, or into British India. So they wanted to create another buffer state. So they cut Kashmir and gave it to the Gulab Singh and the Dogras out there. So sometimes you have to look at your own history, what the problem was. Anyhow, now at that, but this is 1849. But in 1841, there's a huge ambition that starts. This is a hypothesis. There's a Nepal buffer state here. Sutlej, I've already told you, this side of Sutlej, all the Sikh states have gone and joined the Ranjit Singh, joined the British. Now the Ranjit Singh is still aspirational and his progeny afterwards is still aspirational to get into. Umdat Tariq writes way back in 1837, 1836 that we should aspire to get into Tibet. But they start getting in. Now you look back at what they're trying to do. They're trying to get into Nepal and from Nepal get into Punjab on this side, the Ludhianas and others. They're trying to checker that. All the ones who actually did not join with them, now they're trying to, next generation is trying to do that. So expedition under Zorawar Singh and two more generals, I'll take the name, goes in 1841, takes over Rutok. This is a high altitude battle, high altitude, Tibetan plateau. Gartok, 1841, and they come to Taklakot. From Taklakot, they make a mistake. They come here in July and they camp there, winters have started coming in. This is like the Russians and the and the Europeans coming in, right? Winter started coming in. They make a mistake. Forces are forces, right? Hindus, Sikhs, Dogras. They start going to Mount Kailash for a religious yatra. And they waste 1.5 months. And in that time, the Tibetan forces come in, and Taklakot is at the Nepal border. From here, you can come rolling down to Nepal. They had come that close. And these guys come in, they fight a battle there, and Zorawar Singh gets hit with a bullet, he dies. But what I want to tell you is now, this is an interesting part. There are 3 battalions that had gone up into Tibet. One was led by Zorawar Singh, the other by Basti Ram, the third by Ghulam Rasool Beg. This is not Sikh empire, this is a Punjabi empire. Zorawar Singh is a Dogra. Yes, soldiers are all mixed, but 3 generals are leading it. Zorawar Singh, Ghulam Rasool Beg, Basti Ram. The history tells us Zorawar Singh gets shot, he dies. When he dies as the main general, there's a helter-skelter. Basti Ram, from here, comes rolling down. There's a place here called Purang, from where the treks to Kailash Mansarovar happened from India. He comes there, rolls down, and he reaches Ludhiana. That's what they were trying to do. But he escapes with his people. Ghulam Rasool Beg, history goes silent. No one knows what happens to Ghulam Rasool Beg. In fact, there was someone in London had approached me a few years back and claiming to be a descendant of Ghulam Rasool Beg, and says, you've written this history. I want to figure out. But we couldn't find anything. But history is silent about them. And Zorawar Singh is dead. Now, it's a very interesting part of the story. So this is a photograph I clicked of Kailash at Tibet. This is at Taklakot, at this place. A Chotan, a memorial built by the Tibetans, which is called as Singh Ba Chotan, the Chotan of the Singh warrior. Right? This is a book written by, just coming to an end now, right? This is Lhasa Palace, written by Sepon W.D. Shakpa, Tibet, a political history. He was the finance minister of Dalai Lama when Dalai Lama left in 1950s. 59, right? He left Lhasa and he came into India. So this, Dalai Lama was young that time. Sepon Shakpa was an elderly person, finance minister of the Ministry of Lhasa. Comes with Dalai Lama. Then in India he writes he's written 2-3 books. In this book he writes interesting. You remember I started off with Anglo-Sikh war versus Singh Hind Punjab da hone lagya. I was trying to put the narrative right. Now see, it's the British who are writing it. The British, and now he comes into India and our entire history is written from a Anglo-Sikh, right? From the British the way taught. So he comes here and he writes this book, and I'm going to actually give you this just to summarize the whole thing. So here's what he writes. After the battle at Taklakot, the Sikhs were imprisoned. Many of them escaped. Sikhs were imprisoned. He's writing the same term. Sikhs were imprisoned. Many of them were brought into, the ones who were imprisoned were brought into Lhasa. Then he writes, the Sikhs later on cultivated the lands in Tibet and grew apricots, apples, so on and so forth. That's the DNA of Punjabi farmer. Whether it was truly a Sikh or a Muslim or a Hindu, we don't know. DNA of a Punjabi farmer. And I'm going to just last thing I'm going to say, which is a very interesting one. I've been twice to Tibet. I told you earlier I've traveled along the whole Indus, right? Twice to Tibet. Behind this Lhasa is an area known as Muslim quarters. These Muslims don't look like Tibetans. They are very different in their outlook. So DNA is mixed with the Tibetans, but they look different. And they all stayed after the exodus of Dalai Lama. They stayed, they had no reason to move. And Sepon Shakpa writes about these people. The Sikhs, they are Muslims, okay? The Sikhs took the responsibility of being the butchers of Lhasa to supply meat to the Potala Palace, Lhasa's Potala Palace of Dalai Lama. And all of them are Muslims. He's looking at the Punjabis as the Sikh empire, what we are calling as the Anglo-Sikh war. So with that, I'll not get into the close of the Anglo-Sikh wars, that's a different chapter. 1849, the sun sets after the second Anglo-Sikh war. This is the end. I want to just give me 1 minute of a reflection that I want to reflect. It's a lot of hard talk I've done. I want to show one reflection.
Lahore, once the capital of the Sikh Empire.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. I am also learning, constant learning. When I made this video way back in 2016, I had not understood these dynamics till then. So I'm using Sikh Empire. Ignore it.
Lahore, once the capital of the Sikh Empire, is today devoid of the community that had churned its glorious chapters from the city. In 1798, Ranjit Singh rode to Lahore, climbed the walls of the fort and challenged Shah Zaman. O grandson of Abdali, come down and measure swords with the grandson of Chattar Singh. Ranjit Singh created a mighty kingdom, which for the first time in 1000 years was ruled by the son of the soil. He halted the perennial invasions of the Indian subcontinent from the northwest. The Raj stood within the precincts of the Lahore fort, peering at the Athdhara, the 8-gated monument from where Ranjit Singh ruled the mighty kingdom. I was reminded of the painting from the past which depicts the hustle and bustle of the walled court. In that moment, the walls of the Lahore fort echoed a question from within the sounds of silence. Why is it that the glorious chapters that have churned in these lands are totally forgotten by the present generations of Pakistanis and the Sikh community? A few Sikhs who do visit these lands of their forefathers, their desires to explore the legacy footprints seldom surpasses the few functional gurdwaras. Do they not have a responsibility to embrace us, the forgotten monuments of the Sikh kingdom? As I walked out of the Lahore fort, I sighed. I do not have an answer to this question of yours.
That's what I will end with. I have no answers to any questions. What I've learned, I've shared with you. That's where all these things are lying. You can see them. Do I have the ability to take questions? Any or no? Absolutely.